Azịza was baiting a flea man outside, and that man was her long-lost husband. Horrified, Ijere ran far as her leg could carry her. She shared her discovery with the other widows, but they could not believe her tale. But a few were so conscious enough to investigate. In secret, they devised a plan. In that plan, that Ijele should go and survey Azịza's home while she was away. One evening, once upon a time, in the bustling city of Enugu, there lived a woman named Azịza. Azịza was a woman of modesty beauty and a simple heart. When she married her husband, a hard-working man who sold clothes in the city, they both had dreams of a prosperous life together. For a while, things were good. They had more than enough, and every day felt full of possibility. But as time went on, their life took a dark turn. The business began to fail, and people stopped coming to their shop to buy goods. Day by day, their money vanished. Soon, there was hardly enough food for them to eat. And desperation shadowed their once happy home. Azịza grew increasingly anxious. Her heart ached for her husband, who worked tirelessly. Despite the struggle, one evening, with her husband lying silently beside her, Azịza felt the weight of their struggle pressing in, suffocating her. She remembered an old friend, Ifeoma, from her school days. Ifeoma had always been kind and seemed to have achieved success.
Maybe she could help.
The next day, Azịza reached out to Ifeoma, pouring out her troubles. Ifeoma, listening with sympathy, and without hesitation, she gave Azịza some money to ease her burden. Azịza felt a float of relief, but her relief was short-lived as the money quickly ran out, and things didn't improve. Ifeoma, seeing her friend suffer, made her to feel sad. And so, Ifeoma made Azịza an intriguing offer.
There is a women's club I belong to,
Ifeoma explained, her voice low and mysterious.
It is a gathering of women who support each other. If you join us, you won't have to worry about money again.
Desperation of solution, Azịza joined the club. She didn't question it. All she knew was that many of the women there seemed prosperous, confident, and respected in the city. But shortly after she joined, tragedy struck. Her husband disappeared without a trace. She searched for him everywhere, and the police launched an investigation. Their community whispered in confusion, some believing he do abandon his family, while others thinking he might have met a terrible fate. Azịza's heart broke. Eventually, after the long organizing search which led nowhere, her husband's family and the elders insisting they should perform the burial ritual, as it was in their custom and tradition, for the missing and presumed dead. It was a white and sorrowful day. Azịza wept, torn between sorrow and strange sense of finality. But once she returned to the city, her life changed in a way she had never imagined. Within 3 months, her fortune turned dramatically. Suddenly, she had unimaginable wealth. She bought luxurious houses, expensive cars, hotels, and shops. Her neighbors marveled, wondering how a poor woman like Azịza could become so rich overnight. Some believe that it was her husband's spirit that is blessing her, while some believe that it was the money that her husband left behind that she is enjoying. In her church, where she worshipped, she made a large donations, and her generosity contributions soon elevated her to a position of honor. But unknown to everyone, Azịza's newfound riches came from a dark secret. Hidden in the locked room of her mansion was her husband, alive, yet not fully himself, born to a horrified ritual. Every night, he would vomit bundles of cash, currency that appeared through the some twisted form of sorcery. Once a month, she would bring him outside to bathe him, following the ritual rules. While he endured this nightmare silently, seemingly trapped under a spell, Azịza's strange wealth drew curiosity and envy from other women in the city. Many wanted to know her secret. Some of the women were scared, while some are not scared. The ones that are not scared of Azịza's wealth approached her one evening. They pleaded with Azịza to make them rich like herself. But Azịza declined. They went home, and the next day, they came back again, on their knees pleading with Azịza to make them rich, that they are tired of the hard life. Azịza think for a while, and later agreed. She revealed her club, promising that it was a source of her wealth and power. She never mentioned the terrifying price. Soon, many women joined, longing for the riches Azịza had. At first, things seemed promising. Small blessings flowed into their lives. But one by one, tragedies struck. Husband fell ill. Some perished overnight, and others met tragic accidents. Those women became widows, their wealth a mocking shadow of what they had lost. The women began suspecting that something sinister was at play. Among them was Ijele, a strong woman who had been watching Azịza closely. One night, as she was passing by Azịza's house, Ijele saw something that shook her to the core. Azịza was bathing a flea man outside, and that man was her long-lost husband. Horrified, Ijele ran far as her leg could carry her. She shared her discovery with the other widows, but they could not believe her tale. But a few were so conscious enough to investigate. In secret, they devised a plan. In that plan, that Ijele should go and survey Azịza's home while she was away. One evening, while Azịza was out, Ijele sneaked into her house. Her heart pounding, she made her way to the locked room. When she finally opened the door, what she saw frozen her in horror. Azịza's husband, fled and weak, vomiting endless stream of cash onto the floor. The sight was too much to bear. Ijele fled the house, her mind reeling. and she told everyone what she has witnessed. The news of Azịza's dark secret spread like a wildfire. Shock and horror filled the community. The women who had lost their husbands became furious, realizing they had been reeled into tragedy by Azịza's deceit. They confronted her in the streets, demanding an answer, but Azịza denied everything, attempting to shield them from their accusation. Her face, once calm and pure, grew panicked as she realized the walls were closing in around her. The crowd grew restlessly, anger transforming into violence. Stones were thrown, accusations screamed, and Azịza, unable to escape, fell under the weight of their wrath. In the end, she passed away by the stones thrown at her by the angry women. Inside her house, Azịza's husband was finally free. He was brought to a powerful man of God who prayed over him, breaking the curses that has held him captive. Slowly, he regained his strength. His story spread throughout the city, a testimony to the destructive power of greed and the darkness it brings. He dedicated his life to preaching of the word of God in the city. As for the women of the club, they watched as their wealth vanished. Their luxurious life faded as quickly as they had come. But in their losses, they found wisdom and unity, reminding each other of the dangers they had survived. The story of Azịza became a legend in the city, a haunting reminder that wealth without honor brings only ruin. Azịza's story shows that the pursuit of wealth through shortcuts, especially when it involves harm to others, can lead to tragic consequences. Her initial desire for a better life turned into a nightmare as she allowed greed to guide her decisions, ultimately losing her beloved ones and her life. This folktale teaches that wealth earned through deceit brings more suffering than joy, reminding us that true prosperity comes from hard work, integrity, and patience. The end.